Hello, hello, hello. 1 minute early on another sunny Tuesday evening, and I have some fun stuff to share with you. I really do. We're gonna have so much fun tonight with this Painterly Perfect Pears. It's called Painterly Pears, the whole suite, and I absolutely love it. It's so pretty, so I cannot wait to share this with you and show you all of the fun stuff that we're going to make with it. So I know I'm a whisker early. I was so excited to get on here with you. That's why. It's such a pretty suite. It really is. So I can't wait to share the papers with you. And the best part about this is it's free shipping starting tomorrow for 3 days. So it makes it more bang for your buck, right? Having this shipped to you at no cost. We love that. But as always, with a Tuesday, tell me where you're watching from, because we love to celebrate where in the world you're watching from. We have people from all over the UK and from Japan and all over America. I've had a lady from France watching, so it's super cool to watch people and where they're from. Australia, New Zealand. We love our friends from around the world. Hey Fiona, nice and glad that you can join us. Okay, so without further ado, let's talk Painterly Pears Suite Collection. Whew, that's a lot of words. Just so you know, reference number is 166159, and I'll put a link to it. Hi Sayaka-chan. I will put a link to it in the comments so you can go there. And we're gonna be making a fun fold interactive card, and I've got some scrapbook pages to show with you. This is my latest class. I have been creating artwork like a crazy creature this last 2 weeks, so I apologize that it's just been insane for me here. But anyway, the suite is called Painterly Pears. The suite contains a stamp set which is called Perfectly Pears, so it gets all a bit confusing. Put pear in the search bar, it will turn up. I think this is lovely. I really do. So it's a light or an outline and a shade stamp, which we love. So here we've got the 2 small pears, and there's the center. Or you could stamp this outline and shade it with paints or with pencils or with markers, so you don't have to use them in combination with each other, but absolutely they're designed to. Same thing with the leaf. You can stamp the outline, stamp the leaf insert, or again color it with your medium of choosing. We have a larger pear, of which this is the stem, and then you've got the floral. And if you remember, I used it the other week. I showed you a card where I'd used these 3 joined little splodge dots because they're actually the centers of those flowers. So you'd stamp your flower and then stamp your centers. So you could stamp this and color it in pale pink and then put yellow centers, for example. And then you have this paint splatter stamp, which we love that. We're actually going to use that this evening. I already have it there on my block ready for my project. Okay, so the stamp set is an item. You can get it as a bundle with the dies. Now, I love Stampin' Up! Dies. I have to tell you, I do. I think they're absolutely fabulous because you can use them with your stamped image. Okay, so you would stamp your image and that die will fit that stamped image perfectly. What this die will also do is it will absolutely fit the paper. Sorry, my hands keeps wiggling. So you can actually use this die on the paper as well as with a stamp set. So you get, double usage of your dies, which I think is fabulous. So all 3 of the larger images on this paper has a die that will fit. So 1, 2, and then here is the pear on this particular DSP. DSP stands for Designer Series Paper. I just refer to it as paper, but it's DSP, Designer Series Paper, call it what you will. What I do like about it is it actually has different versions of this pear. There are different color combinations, which I really like about that. And then the last one is this flower. So it fits the flower there, fits a flower there, turn it, it will fit the flower there. So 4 of these dies 1, 2, 3, 4 fit the paper and fit the stamp set. So you have options. This long die here, and I've already cut mine out to save time, fits the congratulations. We love that. Now you could do the thank you on it, but it's a little long, but you can absolutely do it, and then you could dovetail an end and then have a curved edge at one end. Or there is a smaller version that you could do for the hello and for the friend. Okay. This I also really like. I'm going to give you options tonight. You can take your long die, cut it out of a coloured cardstock, then cut this floral die, put it, so here's one I've already cut. You could then put your flowers over the top, cut it again, and then you would have a border piece that had got the little flower shapes cut into it, which is kind of fun. And this is the shape of the flower that this die cuts out. I just left it there so you could see it. You've also got a little cluster of flowers, perfect for cutting out of a coloured cardstock or a white cardstock and then shading with your pencil. And then this fabulosity, this hashtag, and I'm going to show you where I've used it in just a second on some artwork. It's just a decorative image, and it's sort of hashtag or paint or scratch marks. I really think that's a fun shape to use. And then you have this long stamp, which is a stem and then leaves. Love it. This would be a great one. You could cut it out twice. Cut it out of a brown cardstock, early espresso or pecan pie, and then shade it with pencils. And then cut it out again in an olive green cardstock, or a granny apple green, and again shade it with pencils. And then just snip the leaves off and then lay them over the top of the brown leaves on the brown stem and paper piece it to make that multicolored leaf image. So there you go. So those are the stamps and the dies. Let's talk about the paper because it's gorgeous. So as I say, we've already talked about this one where you can use it as it is. You can cut the pieces out of it, and the back of that is this beautiful green leaf. Very sort of, you could use this on a jungle layout, you could use it on a woods layout, you could use this for a camping layout. You know, it doesn't have to just be pears or florals. You know, you could use this for any situation. This again, we've got lots of pears. Obviously, it's called Painterly Pear. This is lovely paper. It really is. It almost gives you the idea that the wind is blowing through the branches. That's what it comes to my mind when I see this. And you've got it just sprinkled with these little cream flowers with their pale yellow centres. And on the back of that, again, a lovely neutral. Again, shades of mossy meadow, old olive, those darker greens, which means that you can combine it with a lighter pattern paper, or even the same color paper. Look how pretty that combination is. Okay, this is gorgeous. This is my number 2 favorite paper, I think. I think this paper is glorious. I want wallpaper that looks like this. I would be happy to buy 100 packs of this paper just to pull all of these sheets out and glue them to my wall, because I think it's beautiful. Secret Sea, which is one of the new colors for the 25-27 ink collection. This is Secret Sea, this beautiful dark blue with a hint of grey to it. It's gorgeous. And then you've got the pink florals. Oh, there's another of those little flowers. Let's pop it there. So you've got flowers, and again the pears, and these pears have got like this rosy blush colour to them. And then we've got a lovely yellow on the back, this lovely green. This is Darling Duckling, and again, I really like that. Look at that for a combination. So pretty. But again, you could put this blue with this green. These papers combine so beautifully. This, oh, I've twisted it sideways. Let's turn it around. This is my number 1 favourite pattern in this paper pack, in this DSP. I love this paper. I think it's gorgeous. I really do. It gives me shades of Kath Kidson or Laura Ashley. It gives you those kind of cottagecore vibes. It really does, with the pinks and that greeny yellow shades. I think it's lovely. It really is. And the back of that one is this pretty white with these sprigs of yellow flowers. Again, perfect as a background. You could add some layers onto it. Look how pretty that combination is. I'm telling you, all the combinations of this paper is glorious. Sheet number 5 has a pink background, again with the same similar images. Again, it gives you that wind-blown look with these curved stems and then lots of little flowers. Now these images you could absolutely cut out again. They're easy if you wanted to hand trim them. There isn't a die for these, but you could hand trim these, absolutely, these clusters. I think they're gorgeous. And then we have that grid, this time with shades of the Secret Sea on the background. And then our last page, you can see this is all I've got left out of 2 sheets. I think this paper's gorgeous, and you can see if I pop it down on my mat like that, you can see that the pattern goes all the way around with this nice white center, and you can bet your bottom dollar that yes, that's what I used on one of my layouts that I'm going to share with you tonight, that I'm it's part of my class, and you can get free instructions and cutting guides when you purchase this suite. Okay, so on the back of that, it's that same pattern that we saw in the olive green, but this time in shades of Calypso Coral and Petal Pink, so very soft. And again, it's just these colors and these papers just coordinate beautifully. I mean, look at that combination. So pretty. All right, so without further ado, let me show you some of the artwork, and then I'm hoping that you all have pens and papers, because I'm going to be giving you dimensions for this fun fold. It's a double fold card with a pop out, so there's a lot going on this card. So one of the first cards I did, I made a really quick and simple card, and you can see here that I've also added the ribbon that comes in this suite collection. This is the new Mossy Meadow and Gold. What I love about this is when you unreel it, you can see it's that beautiful mossy meadow, and I'm going to bring it up a little bit to the camera and hopefully you can see it. It's that mossy meadow with that little bit of a gold sparkle in it. But when you turn it over, let me unreel a little bit of it so you can see it side by side. Look how gold that ribbon is. Look how different they are from the one spool. Absolutely love it. So I used this ribbon on this card, and I accented it with the low profile sparkle dots, and they come in this suite as well. So remember, when you get ordering a suite, you're getting all of these products at a 10% discount. Then remember that you're going to get an additional 10% up in Stampin' Rewards when you order online, okay? And then you're going to get free shipping. So it just gets better by the second, right? I know. And remember, it'll also earn you a free day crop plus free instructions for my 2 scrapbook layouts that I'm going to show you. So all of the free. We love this, right? So I love these colors, the Secret Sea, Old Olive, and almost like a Darling Duckling color, but slightly more vibrant. This is Darling Duckling cardstock, and it has shades of it, but it's almost just a slightly lighter hint of color to that, and a little bit of a sparkle. So that's what I've used on all of the projects that you're going to see me use today. So this is this card. You can see that I used some white cardstock, and I have embossed a grid in the background, this diamond shaped grid pattern in the background, just to give it a little bit of texture. And this is just a square of paper. This is a square of paper that was left over from another page. And I'm like, that is the perfect size to put on the front of a card. And then here is the back of that paper. I trimmed off a tiny little strip just to pull it across. So paper piece sizes for this card. Obviously, it's a standard card base, 4 1/4, 5 1/2. Yonten ni go, kokero go, ten go, dozo. Yes, I'm going to give you the instructions for my Japanese friends as well. Okay, this yellow piece is 4 inches by 5 1/4. Yon inches kokeru, so 4 inches, yon inches kokeru, goten ni go. Okay. Oh, I'm glad you shared the video, Debbie. You're ahead of the game, girl. Because yes, there's a giveaway. This card is going to be my giveaway for this week for anybody who tells me they've shared the page. They've got to tell me that you've shared it as well as share it. And Debbie just did that. So Debbie's ahead of the game. Right. This next piece, this white piece, is 3.75 by 5 inches. So they're coming down in 1/4 inch smaller each time. And then I just put it into my score tool, and then I did this diagonal scoring on it. And this is every 1/2 inch. You can do these wider, you can do them narrower, you could do vertical, you could do horizontal scores. I just like it in the background to give it some texture. Okay, so this piece, oh, I've forgotten, where's my ruler? Please hold. The Secret C cardstock is 3 inches by 3 1/4. So Sun Inches Coquero Sunten Ni Go Dozo for the Secret C cardstock, and then we're going 1/4 inch smaller than that. So 2.75 by 3. So Niten Nanago Coquero Sun Inches Dozo for that. So I hope those are pretty simple. We're just coming down. So 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch. This one is actually 1/2 inch and then 1/4 inch. So as they come down and stack on top of each other. And this is 0.25 by 5. So 010 Ni Go Coquero Go Inches Dozo. Okay, then just the ribbon, and I tied it around the inside of the card. I like to see that in a card. Some people don't. Some people don't want to see any ribbon tied around, and in which case you would tie it around your yellow layer before you stick the whole piece to the front of your card, right? And then I used one of those yellow dots, and I used a yellow dot to pull in this yellow background. So we've got 1, 2, and then the yellow on here. We've got pink here, and then the green with the green, and then the blue with the blue background. So that was the reason for my choice. Now this would look totally different if you put this on a blue base instead of a white base. It would change the look of the whole card, and that's the fun about this, is change out your colors of cardstock, and you will get a totally different look. Now the way that I'm using this particular cardstock is I purchased the 2025-27 in color cardstock bundle, and it's the 8.5 by 11, which is a card size, and you can see that it has all of the 5 new colors: Darling Duckling, Timid Tiger, Cloud Cover, Strawberry Slush, and you can see I don't have much of this left. This one is the Secret C, but it gives you a selection. It gives you 4 sheets of each of those 5 colors. If you don't want to buy each of the colors singly, this combination pack for the in-season colors is a perfect way to do it. You just get that lovely sampling. Okay, so let me show you a couple of scrapbook layouts. And like I said, when you buy this sweet from me, this sweet collection from me, 166159, you'll get the cutting guide for free for this. So this was the first layout I made, and I'm going to show you how to do this technique in a minute. So that was layout number 1, and then this was layout number 2. And on both of these you can see where I've used that die cut, that hashtag die cut in the background. And like I said, it's a very soft die cut just in the corners, which is super fun. Okay, now either of those 2 layouts, you could duplicate them and make them into a double layout if you wanted to. I just made some single layouts for a change. Sometimes it's just nice to change it up. You don't want lots and lots of layouts. You could also put them together as they use some of the same patterns, so they would actually sit together in your scrapbook album as well. Okay, so all of the talking, let's now get on with the card, right? We have lots of pieces, and you may well have seen versions of this card floating around the internet, but this is Sarah's version. This is the Batkinized version. Okay, so my card base is, I hope everybody's got a pen and a piece of paper. Give me some thumbs up, give me some loving if you have your pen and paper ready. You should have your finger on the button. I want to see some loving, I want to see some hearts, and then we can get over with this card and I can give you the measurements. But I need to know you've got pens and papers before we start. And remember, you can always go back and rewatch this video if you need to. Okay then, so this card is 5.5 inches tall from top to bottom by 8.5 inches. So it's half of a 8.5 by 11 sheet. So the nice thing about this is you can get 2 card bases from one of these sheets in this combo pack. So we love that, right? So this is 5.5 by 8.5. Okay, nice standard size. And I'm going to tell you where I scored it. I scored it at 0.75, so that's 3/4 of an inch. So 0 to 10 nano go. In from one end, I turned it round and scored it at 0.75 inches from that end as well. So 3/4 of an inch. If you do it one side, you're going to do it the other, basically. So 3/4 of an inch in from this side, 3/4 of an inch in from that side. Okay, you're then going to, and I'm going to try and slide it on my mat. And maybe if I push my mat over just a little, you'll be able to see. I'm trying to. You are going to score it at 2 1/8. Okay, so that is half of 4 1/4, because your standard card is going to be 4 1/4. So 2 1/8. 1/8 is halfway between 2 1/4. Does that make sense? People they really struggle with their eighths and 16ths. I try not to use 16ths for this very reason, but I will use an eighth. So this is 2, this is 2 1/4. It's the slightly longer line in between 2 and 2 1/4. That is 2 1/8. Okay? And to make it easy, you're going to flip it round and you're going to do it at 2 1/8 from that side. Okay? So you would get a card that would fold and join in the middle. Okay? So 2 1/8 from this side, 2 1/8 from that side. All right. Your next score... Oh, you're going to hate me. It is 3 7/8. Okay? Now, if you're going, Sarah, with the eighths, all right, here's how to make it easier. I really do. So, I'm going to just take my blade out because I do not want to cut this in error. Okay, so, I'm hoping you can see it. 3/4 of an inch, 2 1/8. Okay, my next score is going to be 3/4 of an inch from there. So you can, if you want to, do it at 4 7/8. That's halfway between 3 3/4 and 4. Or to make it easier, it is 1 3/4 inches from this fold. Does that make sense? I don't know which is the easiest way. Some people, they like it in eighths. Some people like, no, give me a whole 1/4 inch. So it's 3 7/8, or it is 1 3/4 inches from that 2 1/8 mark. All right? I know. Your next score line is going to be 3/4 of an inch from this line, which is actually 4 5/8, which is halfway between 4 1/2 and 4 3/4. That's 4 5/8. But this space is 0.75 inches. Okay, so if it makes it easier for you going, I don't want to do the eighths, you can do 3/4 of an inch from this line here. Okay? You got one more score. You haven't got any more scores. That's it, because we've already done this score from this end. So they're all even. So 3/4 of an inch, 2 1/8. The next one is 3 7/8, or this space is 1 3/4 inches. The next one is 4 5/8, or 3/4 of an inch space here. And then when you score this at 3/4 and 2 1/8, that will be correct. Whew. Is everybody survived that? Okay, you might have to go back and watch that a couple of times, but know that these two sections are 1.75, 1 3/4, itchy 10 nano go. This piece, and this piece are 0.75, or 3/4 of an inch, or 0 10 nano go. and this piece is 2 1/8. And I can't do that in Japanese. Ni ten something. Figure it out. All right. Whew. Are we all okay with that? All right, let's get some pieces down. So I've cut 3 pieces of this paper. Oh, I've lost one. 1, 2, 3. So this is the paper that has the white center, and you know where they're going to go. One's going to go there, one's going to go there, and one is going to go there. And each of those 3 pieces are 0-10 go, kokeru, go 10 ni go. So 1/2 inch by 5 1/4, or 0.5 by 5.25, depending on how you do it. All right. And you know, I'm going to drive you all nuts, but while you are all busy scribbling, I'm going to whiz down these with my scissors, and I'm just going to rough up the edges of these. So like I said, I've seen quite a few versions of this card floating around the internet. I like this one with the Painterly Pears, and I've done some of this work already so that you don't have to watch me do it. We're going to do some spattering in a minute as well with the wink of Stella. You know I like a good spatter moment. And let's just whiz down these. Just be careful you don't scratch your fingers when you're doing it. And yes, I've got some very vibrant nails going. They remind me of summer sunsets or summer sunsets. All right, let's get adhesive on these super fast. And then we can get them stuck down. Okay, so now you're just going to center them on each of those 3 sections and get them equal. Next one for adhesive. Okay. Nice thing about this glass mat is if you get adhesive on it, I take hand sanitizer and spray it, let it soak, and then I'm able to wipe off any glue. All right, I have 2 pieces of this gorgeous pink background that has the secret C check, and these 2 pieces are 1.5 by 5.25, and they are going to go there and there. So 1.5, Ichiten go, kokeru, go, ten ni go, dozo. Okay, 1.5 or 1.5 by 5 1/4, 5.25. Isn't this pretty? Love these. I think this paper is so pretty. Which was your favorite pattern that I showed you out of all of those 5 patterns? Did you like the one that I loved the best? Or which one was your favorite? You remember my favorite was the yellow with those yellow floral clusters on them. And I loved that secret C background. But this pink one, it's equally pretty. It really is. I know this card seems really hard, but it really isn't. It's actually super simple. Now, if you wanted to put paper on these sections, you could. I chose not to. Because this paper has a lot of pattern going on it. I could have put some plain cards on, but it doesn't matter because there's going to be so much going on with this card. I think it lets your eye rest and it gives you some space for your eye to calm down. All right, we have 3 pieces of Darling Duckling cardstock. Okay, they are all the same size. They are 3.5 by 3.5. All 3 are the same. That one I didn't stick down correctly. There we go. There we go. So they're all exactly the same size. Okay, I am going to stick 1 piece to the center only. So I'm just going to put some adhesive there and there. And then I'm going to center that on that section. Just make sure I've got it centered. Okay, so I just attached the adhesive to that piece. So now it will sit like that. Does that make sense? I want to see some love and I want to see some hearts. I know you're all concentrating like crazy. Okay. I'm going to fold this piece in. I'm going to line up that piece on that piece. Okay. So I know where it's going to go. Oops. Okay. And again, I am just putting adhesive, and you can see where to start and stop it because we know it's going to line up with this piece. And again, you're just going to stick it on that paper. Line up your squares. Press it down firmly because it's only going to be stuck down by that bit. Okay. Now you could make these pieces smaller if you wanted to. You don't have to have them this size. You can make them any size you like, but I love it this size. Okay. And you know we're going to do the same this side as well. So again, just on that pink, keep it within the, you know where the edges are going to be, and you're going to line this one up. Now, again, if you wanted to, you could make these different sizes. You could stagger them up and down, but mine, I want it to almost look like a surprise. So it's going to open like that. Okay? So it will sit like that. You like it? Okay. Well, we've got 3 blank panels. You know they're not going to stay like that. This paper. My favourite paper. Did you tell me what your favourite paper was? I'm busy concentrating on what I'm doing and not what you're writing. So you need to tell me what your favourite paper was. Did everybody do that? So, as Debbie went ahead and shared already, told me that she shared this video, she will be in the drawing already for the card giveaway. So make sure you do the same thing. Make sure you share this video. I really appreciate it when you do. Most of you I've invited to follow my page. Please follow my page. It helps me with the algorithms with Facebook. We know all of that. But tell me in the comments. You must, if you don't tell me in the comments that you shared it, you're not in the drawing, okay? Debbie's already in it. Don't let Debbie be, well, Debbie's going, please, nobody tell her. And then I can be the only person that gets it. I can hear you, Debbie. I know how your mind works. My mind would work exactly the same way. All right. This piece of paper is obviously 1/4 of an inch smaller. It is 3.25 by 3.25. So is this piece of white cardstock. Okay. We're just going to rough up the edges. And I have a little bit of that beautiful Secret Sea paper. It is 1/2 inch by 3.25. So 010 Go, Kokero, Sunten Ni Go. And I'm going to stick it, whoops, I will, it's alive, it got caught up in my nails. I'm going to stick it down, but I want to do some techniques on this piece first. I'm just getting all the pieces prepped first. Okay, let me move that because we don't want it to get mucky. And then this piece again, same size, 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. So those center panels are obviously, for this particular card, the same size as those, sorry, 1/4 of an inch. They're all the same size, but they're 1/4 of an inch smaller than the square. Am I making sense? I'm getting hotter and hotter. My husband does not have the air conditioning turned down low enough for me. I could live in a refrigerator right now. He, on the other hand, is not, he would not be hot enough on the surface of the sun. It is hard in this house. It's probably 85 degrees here in my workroom. I am dying. I am melting by degrees. Okay, we have Petal Pink. Petal Pink ink. I love saying that. Let me just get my piece of scrap paper that we can, I don't want to get ink on my mat tonight. Okay, we are going to take Petal Pink on my blending brush, dab off the extra, and then we're just going to do a little bit of sponging up in that corner. That's it. I don't want it to be a lot. Okay, just a little bit. Like, it's almost like a sunset, right? And I'm going to do another bit up in this corner as well. And I'm not re-inking it. There's enough ink on my brush. I could keep inking for days. I love it. And I just wash those out. I just wash them out in a bowl of warm soapy water until it's completely clean. Then I use it with another colour. You might want to keep one for, like I do. So I keep one for my oranges. I have one that does all my reds. I don't have one that does all my turquoises. One that does all my dark blues. One that does my purples. One that does my browns. So I keep them in the colour group, but I will use this for another orange because if there was a tiniest trace of like a peachy orangey color within it, it wouldn't matter if you're keeping it within the same color family. All right, before I go any further, we're gonna stamp as well. So let me just get this Petal Pink ink back again, and we're just going to do just a couple of like paint spatters, and we'll do one over here as well. Okay, that's one, and then we're just going to do a couple on that one as well. Just one or two. Now you can see that I've already cut using that die, and I've stamped using Old Olive ink the word congratulations, and I'm going to pop that here like that. Okay, but I want to add the ribbon on before I do that. Try not to forget the ribbon. Okay, so I've already cut my piece of ribbon. I'm going to use the gold side. There's the olive green side, and then I've already tied my bow ready to go. So the easiest way to stick this ribbon so it doesn't move around is I'm actually going to put adhesive down the whole length of it, pretty much. Okay, whoops. Oh, I want to spatter before I do anything. You see, I've already forgotten. I get carried away. Shocker, you know this. All right, Wink of Stella. So you have a choice. You can tap it on your finger and it will splatter like that. If you want to control your splatter better than that, here is another technique I've shown you in the past. Take your block, okay, squeeze, it says push, squeeze a little of the Wink of Stella onto your block, just a little tiny puddle, okay, and now you're going to flick it off your block, and you have more control as to where it goes. Okay, we'll do the same thing here, because I don't want it all over this area, because people are going to write here. Okay, we'll turn it round because we'll get it directional. The only thing you have to be a little bit careful about is that don't let it drip off the edge of your block onto your project. That's it. Simple as that. But it gives you more control than just hitting it on your finger, because sometimes you can end up with Wink of Stella everywhere. Ask me how I know. Okay, let's put my ribbon down before I lose it again. Okay, because it's got adhesive on the back, right? So we're just going to put, oops, because it's sticky, it keeps sticking to my nail. All right, we'll just tuck those ends around the back. All right, let's just add some adhesive to this. Move the scrap paper. And let's put this on this panel here. Oh, it's so pretty. My goodness. Love. We are going to use some of my, where's my glue dot? There it is. We're going to use a glue dot to glue this ribbon bow down. Now, sometimes I like to use the Tombow liquid adhesive. You do have to be careful with any liquid glue that it's not going to soak into your ribbon. So with this type of ribbon, because the ribbon's a little bit heavier, I'm actually putting the glue dots on the tails. So 1, 2, and then one in the middle as well, because I don't want this, oh, and don't stick it to your nail. Okay. All right, we're getting there. And one in the middle as well. So I have 3 glue dots. That is not going anywhere. I'm just going to use this as the placement for that. Okay, so we've glued our bow down. We need 3D foam tape on this. This is not going onto my card without 3D stamping dimensionals, because you know that's not going to happen. Okay, we like that. Let's just move this one up just a whisker. Okay, you know when your eyelids start to sweat, you know that it's hot in here. Woo! I think I'm having a hot flash. Okay, congratulations. Look how pretty that is. Love it. All right, last piece to go down. This is the centerpiece. We're going to attach that paper to the bottom edge. Super cute. Which way do I want it up? Yeah, I think I like, no, we're going to go it this way. I'm just trying to decide which way I want the pattern. Okay. So this is the, to Sarah, thank you so much for another awesome class. I can't wait to make the layouts. You can fold those back out the way just while you center that. Okay, they'll tuck underneath. Okay, I already die cut my pears. You know we're going to be popping these up on some Stampin' Dimensionals. I'm going to use a combination of the large ones and the small ones. Okay, and then we need a little one on that leaf there. Okay, don't be stingy with your 3D foam dots with the Stampin' Dimensionals. Make sure you use plenty. All right, let's just get that one out of the way. We're going to put the little pears there. And then, do I want these? I've cut these. Oh, yes. Why would we not, right? Why would we not? And we're just going to put one on this one in the center because it's going to overlap the edge of the square and the pears, which will support it. So we'll do that. And then let's add some dots because we love the dots, right? They're so pretty. Okay, so what color are we going to use? I think I've used a lot of the blue ones. I love the blue with this, but I think I need the green on this particular version. Okay, so here we go with some dots. We've got 2 sizes. I haven't got my take a pick tool. It's in the. I thought I'd stuck my pears on upside down then, but I didn't. We've got 2 sizes, small and large. And they're just glorious. So like I said, 166159 is this sweet collection. And free shipping starts tomorrow for 3 days. I'm so excited about the free shipping. You do not know how excited I am for free shipping. We love free shipping, right? The world loves free shipping. Look how pretty that is. Do you love it? So it will close. You can send it and mail it in a regular envelope. It opens like that, it opens like that. There is your message which will pop out and it stands beautifully like so. And you don't get how pretty it is when it stands on the side. From this view, it actually looks like that. It's so pretty. And how fun would this card be? I mean, you change the paper, you change the colours, and it changes the look of the card. You can alter the sizes. You could make these smaller. You could have this one larger, this one narrower, and this one. You can make them all sorts. I think that this would be a fabulous card if you made these tags and used the dies, ouch, that was my knee, use the party banner dies. I think this would be so cute. And you could use a variety of different dies for this. Let me just pop one off. How fun would that be to have a die shape in the center, party banners? I think this is lovely. I really do. I think this is such a fun card. You could do circles. They don't have to be squares. So I hope you've enjoyed this class. I know it's a little crazy with the instructions. Make sure that you don't miss out on that free shipping starting tomorrow. I'll see you next Tuesday with another fun tutorial. Bye!